Welcome, warriors, archers, shieldsmen, and cavalry. I am your knight who might eat a block of cheese every day, Medieval Zayak. Today, we will be covering the Swordsman unit with a very clean playstyle of Kill. Okay, in all seriousness though, the Swordsmen are a very aggressive unit. They can win a lot of matchups in Warlords. They deal a great amount of damage, but are vulnerable to a lot of things too. Let's start with the strengths, as always. The Swordsmen deal a very high amount of damage. Maybe not the highest in the game, but definitely good for starter units. The Swordsmen deal more damage to armor than other units, which is a very good thing considering shields have good armor and a lot of people pick shields, let's be honest. And the Swordsmen also have the second best armor out of all the starter units, losing to only, obviously, the shields. Now, we're going to jump into the weaknesses, keeping it short and simple today. The Swordsmen have no real defense against archers or cavalry. Cavalry obviously aren't a starter unit, but they are a moderate unit, so you might run into a couple here and there. But they are going to get destroyed because, like Halberds, they have no defense against archers, but they also don't have spears, and this can cause issues when going against a lot of archers or cavalry units. They also will usually lose to spear type units because they can just back up instead of trying to fight them head on. The Swordsman cannot fight a shield head on even with the armor penetration because the shields randomly block damage obviously, and the armor penetration does not hit through shields. So you should always try to attack shields from behind, which is the same for every unit, but some units can do it better than others. Swordsmen are not good against most higher cost units, unlike the halberds. Swordsmen do struggle against higher cost swordsmen and, so on. On to some basic tips. We're going to move on to the tips section to remember while using said swordsman. Avoid picking fights with archers or cavalry, as I said, because even if you are full health and they are not, cavalry will probably still wrap you up unless they are also really on the brink of death. Archers, if they're too far away, they will spray you down and you will probably die in 1 or 2 volleys. Now you can, if they are like right next to you, pick off their archers with minimal effort, but that rarely ever happens, and if it does, praise the warlord gods. Always attack the backs of shieldsmen. This goes for any unit, as you do a ton of damage with your armor piercing ability, and it just really great. Now, spears and halberds should be cornered or not fought at all, because they can back up and they will take a little bit of damage and you will take a lot of damage because you're chasing after them. And if they're in formation, then you might be able to pick a couple off, but they'll still do a ton. You should be able to rush them though, and they outrange you. So try to corner them, either pincering them in between you and a teammate, or pushing them up against a wall, or in a choke point. If they're running through it, you can probably do a good amount of damage if they are not backing up. Though, outside of these situations, you must remember, be aggressive, because that is how the swordsman unit rolls. They are not able to defend themselves very well from damage, but they deal a ton of it. So get up in units' faces. You will probably take a lot of damage, so you will probably be resetting a lot. But getting the jump on low health or outnumbered units can almost guarantee a victory in most situations, depending on the unit type. Look for openings to deal damage alongside allies or while an enemy is distracted, because you're going to need that little boost since your units are quite vulnerable to attacks. My final conclusion on this swordsman unit is that they may not be as versatile as shields or halberds, but they bring their own strengths to the table in attack. Their attack makes up for their defense, however, they are not able to sustain themselves like other units, so as I said before, you might be going back to reset or completely getting wiped out more than other people, because after one fight, though you might wipe out a unit, you probably will still be low health unless you got the jump on them. Well, that is all for this guide. I kept it a bit shorter than the last one because you probably don't want to sit through 10 minutes of me talking. But one thing I will mention, I'm not going to run through the moderate and advanced units like I have the starter units. The moderate units, I will do a cavalry guide, and that will be my only moderate guide because all the same principles apply for them, except you can take a bit more risk while fighting with them. And the other units, I will do showcases, not in just one match, but I'll tell you their abilities, what situations they're good in, but I'm not going to do all the basic tips because you should know a little bit about the game by the time we get there. And after I finish all the starter units, obviously I will be doing the starter guide. So have a great day. If you enjoyed the content, make sure to stick around and join the kingdom.